meeting to order.
Okay.
If you would, please join me in the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we will look for approval of tonight's agenda.
Second.
Okay. Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and we'll move along. Department head proposals.
All right, so if I want to go through,
State your name.
I'm Happy Welch. I'm the city administrator for the city of St. Genevieve, Missouri. We are at the budget work session on this lovely Thursday, August 21st. So we're going through the budget tonight. We focus mostly on the capital amounts, but you have copies of the full budget, so all the line items. And that was what we call the budget worksheet. You'll have a copy of the 5-year plan, our capital improvement plan, which looks like this. And then the page that we'll probably do the most on with the individual department heads is this, which has the individual capital items. So on the top it says proposed large capital items. I have filled that out and then made recommendations. And depending upon the day, someday my recommendations change, but it doesn't change on the paper. So that's up to the board though on final approval of any of those items. So we'll focus on those with the department heads. First off, what I would like to talk to you about is the overall health of the city. So that would be this large spreadsheet. So this is an overview of all of the funds that we have. So on the top grids, that is all general fund. So general fund can be spent on any department. If we want to put it in streets, if you want to put it in water sewer, you can do that. But you can't do that with the enterprise and dedicated funds. So I've listed those separately and keep those separate so you have that information in front of you. So we'll start with the general fund. We have an estimated unaudited balance to start the year on October 1st at a little over $1.5 million. We have 2 revenue sources. So you have all your taxes, and then the Prop S, which we list under the police department. So our estimated revenues are around $2.4 million. If you keep moving to the right, we have salaries and benefits and the operational. So this is just the day-to-day operations. This is what it costs for the people and to keep the lights on. So we estimate on that, we're going to spend about $2.3 million. So we're in the green compared to what we have as revenue. So you want to have that to start with, because if you're already in the red, and we've worked through this a few times to get us out of the red, we want to be in the green to start with, because there may be some adjustments that need to be made, and may eat into that a little bit. You may pull some out of that. And that's what some of those recommendations on the capital items affect. So on the capital items, as you keep moving to the right, most of those are listed as grant items. So we have revenue and expenses. So those are paid for through the grants that we get. And again, those items will be brought up with our capital expenses. And then we have capital improvements. So there aren't any grants with these. So we're looking at a number of items like the landscape architect, the website. Those are extra expenses that are not figured into the daily. And those are what you'll be voting on to say yay or nay. So when we figured that up, it was about $306,000 for all of those items. That puts us below what our revenue is by about $482,974. Our mark that we want to shoot for is 50%. However, we have allowed ourselves to go down to 40%. So our final number at the end of the year would be about a little over $1 million, which is 44%. We'd love to get that up to 50. We are supposed to do that by 2028, so we're working towards it. Last year it was 40, now we're at 44. We'll just keep working at that. Any immediate questions? So down below that is the enterprise dedicated fund, so park, streets, tourism tax. On the left is the unaudited balance. This is what we estimate we'll have left. And these can change because such as with streets, we're still paying on Prop S. The construction is going on. We're getting pay requests. So that may be higher or lower. We're just estimating as best we can what we've seen so far. So we have a month and a half left until we get to the new budget year. But if you work your way left, we have the unaudited balance. We have what our revenues are for those departments. We've been very conservative with water, even with the rate increase. Based on our estimates, we're just going to stay conservative with it until we see the trend. If the trend shows that it's going up, we can come back and revise that. So we're going to be pretty conservative as to what we spend out of the water fund. And then we have at the bottom, you have capital projects, which is just our savings account at this point. So we're about $2.5 million and we'll stay roughly that amount. So that is a general fund line, which can be spent on any items. And we just did that recently with the ferry. That's where that money came out of. So we start with our beginning balance at roughly 14.6 million. We have that is an inflated amount because of the Prop S $10 million bond issue. We end up for the end of next year about 9.8 million. And again, that's because we have Prop S money still in there. And Prop S is something that I recommend that the board talk about next month at a work session on what streets you want to do next year. We have 3 streets that are left from our original list. And then there's others that have been requested and others that were on our master plan for street improvements. So I've handed that out as well. You've also got some pie charts and some graphs that kind of give you an idea of the trend of what our sales tax and general revenue tax are, or property tax, what the division is between the departments and what the percentage is of the general fund and what the percentages are for the enterprise and dedicated funds, just to kind of give you an idea of what those expenditures look like compared to each other. Any questions? Does everybody have a copy of what I've shown? Does anybody need anything? Okay, and thank you for bringing your copies back, because that's one of those things that I appreciate, that we don't have to make other copies. So what we're going to do is start working through the department heads. You can ask questions of the line items, the capital items, whatever you want to ask about. I also want to point out that we are showing a step raise only in this. We have deposited $200,000 from Fund 70, which is what we did at the beginning of this budget year to help balance our end of the year amount. 15% health insurance premium increase this year. It was supposed to be 25%, but we changed to an HRA. So now there's more responsibility, we moved it to a higher deductible so that the employees didn't have more deductible responsibility. Some of that falls on us. So if they don't use the insurance, we keep that money as opposed to what you spend every month on premiums. So we look at that as being a savings for the city and savings for the employees. And we also have the safety merit that we do in December, and that's $100 per employee.
I had one question, Happy. Under the capital improvements, I don't remember, and I may have forgot if this $35,000 landscape architect.
So the idea on that is, and we can get into that, but I can jump on it now. The idea is that we've improved the inside. We talked about the outside. So we need to figure out what we want the outside to look like. So I want to hire somebody or have somebody hired that understands landscaping, the exterior of buildings, and try to devise something that we can plan and draft plans on for the outside of this building. So if we're going to paint the brick, we're not going to paint the brick. What we're going to do with the parking lot? Are we going to do anything with the flowers out front? That's what that intention is.
Right. It just seemed a little, $35,000 for landscaping seemed like a lot, but you're talking about overall building.
I mean,
grounds.
The whole, 360 degrees. Yep. Yeah. All right, so let's get underway with the department heads. David Bova is up first with community development.
Good evening, everyone. Again, I think Happy said this, but I'll be on this page under community development. There's just 2 items there. Just a couple inches down the page. It says historic demo grant, meaning demonstration, but this is a historic walking tour app grant.
Oh, they were.
Yeah.
I'm searching.
That's not it. That's the 5-year capital plan. This page. Don't have it?
I'm missing it. It's in. They put it all together. It's in that.
Oh,
It's in that. What came today? Oh, I don't.
I'll go make some copies. It's this,
No.
this, right?
You didn't get it. You ordered it.
later.
An additional part.
What's that?
I think you can start, I think we.
Okay. You share that document? So I have 2 items under community development. There's a historic grant, that's $36,234, that's a 60/40, so 60% of that is in the revenue line also. And then an additional part-time inspector with our subdivision coming, that would be for, that figure is a ballpark for 36 weeks, so that would be after the beginning of the new calendar year for 24 hours a week at about the midpoint pay level. I think if, our developer gets into building quite a few homes a year, we're going to need more than just one part-time. We kicked around full-time, but I think 2 part-time is the way to go because a full-time inspector is probably going to cost us more than 2 part-time.
How many hours do you consider part-time?
This would be a second 24-hour inspector.
Or-
So where do we save the money at? Is it through benefits or?
Yeah, and Gene does a great job, and I don't want to see Gene go anywhere. And conversations between Gene and I, he doesn't have interest in going full-time. So they would.
A lot of people out there that would like part-time.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this would be 3 days a week, Gene's 3 days a week, so they would overlap 1 day a week.
Be probably good to have 2 different opinions on.
Yeah.
Keep them contractors on their toes with. Everybody has a little pet peeve, so.
Absolutely. Those are the 2 things that I have.
The first thing, that demo grant and stuff, I don't remember seeing that before. This is new.
No, it was there last year, but it didn't, the SHPO was slow, so this is really just a carryover from last year. It is a slightly different amount. It's not, I don't know if you heard me earlier, it's listed as a demo grant, meaning a demonstration, but this is for our mobile app walking tour. It's a historic preservation grant. We've done them. We did one for windows and floors. We did one for exterior. So this is the same grant program, just a different result.
Questions? Comments? All right. Thank you, David.
All right, up next is Aaron Smith from Tourism.
Hello, everyone. You jump down to the Tourism Welcome Center. A lot of these are things with the state. So the marketing plan, that would be 10,000 out of that will be taken from the TTC funds, and then 50% of that will be come from the state. So 40,000, and the city would be responsible for 40,000. Wayfinding grant, that is something that the state knew with the state. That actually will not hit the general fund at all. TTC has come up with the entire 30,000 for that. So we got 60,000 total for that, 30 from the state and 30 from TTC. The MPD state grant, that's how we got the rebrand last year. This year it's content procurement. So photos, videos, and I've got a local for the photos. So we're going to get photos kind of all year, nonstop. And then my videographer, who's really affordable, we're going to get 6 videos and 30 reels and all this stuff for the other 10,000. So, and again, 10,000 comes from the state on that.
The MTBD state grant, that's a 50/50 match?
Yeah. The website SEO grant, that's another one from the state. They just came up with that this year. Actually, I think that line item should be 12,000. 6,000 would come from the city. 6,000 would come from the state. Again, I'm just trying to take advantage of everything that the state has to offer. And then that Travel South grant, 4,100, that would be 100% from the state. So,
Can you talk about Placer AI?
oh yeah, sure. Absolutely. I know Happy and David were under the impression that this contract that we have with Placer AI, where it was $5,000 this year, that it was going to jump up. We were going to be paying the full price, which is $8,000 next year. I got an email from my representative there. He said it's only going to jump up 8% to $5,400. I think we're getting some really good data from that. I think David can actually pull some really good data with that. We've all just got to find the time to keep using it. But since things have opened up for me, I've been diving in. There's some really great stuff in there. So if we could find that 5,400, I would be appreciative of that.
That's a hard number, 54.
That's it. Yeah, that's the whole kit and caboodle.
And you like the data you're getting?
I do like the data I'm getting. Yeah, it's very helpful as far as, like, I was talking to the TTC board, stuff that I'm diving into now. They have these, all these different things that you can click through, but I sat through a tutorial the other day, and you can dive into like the psychographics of people who are visiting you, and they have Experian has packaged all these different psychographics of different demographics of people that visit, and they have all these different names for them, and kind of talk about their spending habits, how much they're, and even go into like the sort of advertisements you should be putting in front of them. So I think that stuff's really interesting and could be a windfall.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but the data you presented last week at our meeting with like demographics and regions, as far as our visitor, where they're coming from and what their demographic, that was all from Placer.
That's all from Placer AI, yeah. And that's just one of the sort of buckets you can jump into. So that's one of those things. It's like I'm getting used to that one bucket, but then there's other things that you can jump into that really give you a good scope of who's visiting and trends. What I could also do is kind of find a place that I can compare us to and see, even because, like we've talked about, it's hard to find data that proves boots on the ground.
I would say we probably use that half of our discussions at all the TTC meetings. Placer AI comes up about at half of the agenda items. We talk about the people that showed up versus the last year, effectiveness of marketing campaigns that we do. So it validates all of the effort that we.
Yeah, true.
To some extent, it helps validate all the efforts that Aaron and the businesses and the groups that go through and place it. So
you could kind of see, and even it'll be interesting to see again. A lot of stuff we're putting infrastructurally into place, like the website is only a couple months old when you think about it. But again, cleaning that stuff up and making it easy to convert, you could start to see the visitation from last year. It's starting to gain on where as everything was a flat line before. Now you can start to see a little gain here, and I'd love to see if that continues.
And that's, you subscribe to it. You get all the features in it. You can pull whatever data they have available.
Yeah.
You can mess with the parameters.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Geofence. From what I'm hearing, maybe we're just scratching the surface.
That's it. And that's what I was talking about. The unfortunate thing is like, there's only so much time in a day, and you kind of need to hold on to these things for a certain amount of time to just keep informing yourself with it and diving into it and taking the time to dive into it. But yeah, we're just scratching the surface on the kind of data that we can get to that. And like I said, for economic development or community development, there's some really incredible material in there for that too. So when we get this this housing development to see how things have changed demographic wise of even the makeup of our own town will be very interesting to see, and so really, I did a deep dive on the French Heritage Festival and was able to pull data from 2019
You can get historical data.
You can get historical data. Pretty much, they started in 2017. So if there's enough data, you can grab it all the way back from 2017. So that's pretty cool.
Aaron, I have a question. Back to your wayfinding grant. Did you say that's all going to come out of Fund 23 and not the general fund?
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
So in simple terms, they're out of your $180,000. You know, what is the taxpayer on the hook for? And what are grants going to be covered?
Yeah. So on the hook for, let's see, we got 40 and 10 and then 6. So 56. Mm-hmm.
Would that include the Placer AI if you have to take all that out of yours? Because we had it up in legislative.
Yeah, right. No, that
Is that because other departments are using that data too, or is that?
we were hoping, well, the two licensed users are me and David. Yeah.
David, are you finding merit in it?
It has a tremendous amount of information, but I just have not had time.
Right.
We really have to dig into that, and Aaron has done the work for that, so he has good data, but I have not.
I think it allows us to be a little more intentional in how we spend our marketing dollars. So
I think it will help us laser focus. And I
Yeah.
think from what I've heard, people I've talked to, it's like, with our budget, it's like you kind of have to really get laser focused. And, it's going to take me some time to get there too. But it's happening faster than not. And that data helps with that. So.
and TTC likes the data too, Alderman Stike?
Yeah, they're.
Okay. I'd like to try to see if we can figure out how to make that work. It's a little more palatable. I know it's only $2,600 less than the 8, but that helps. Every little bit helps.
Yeah, so I guess with Placer AI, it would be 61,400 that the taxpayer would be on the hook for out of that 180,000, 185,400.
Do we feel like that's better spent in the Parkland Ready? They're pretty similar line items. I feel like we're getting more out of Placer AI than we are Parkland Ready right now, and maybe.
Isn't there some kind of overlap with that too? Like Parkland, is that just SEMO that has, or does Parkland Ready have Placer AI data?
FEMA has it, but I don't think they have the ability to share the data.
Yeah. So.
And that's the tough one with Parkland Ready. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
they land one contractor, one industrial company or business that wants to move here, and all of a sudden they create 30 jobs. It's a tough call with Parkland Ready. I'm a big proponent of economic development, and they'll go years with zero on their win side, but then when they get that one win, it might make a difference. So I don't know how you
Is that the full amount? We're paying for the county?
Well, the county's not a member. I don't think we're not paying for them.
We're paying for the whole county. So that's how we're billed.
Yeah.
Because of the 18,000
Yeah.
residents.
Wonder if IDC would be interested in paying that
You
bill.
can split it. I
Or half the
agree
bill.
with the mayor as to whether it's worth it at this point doing the whole bill, but there is some benefit from it.
Sure.
But yeah, and I can justify half. I really have a hard time justifying it when there are other agencies.
Sure. What do we think about Placer AI?
Leave it up to the expert.
No, yeah, it would be good, but you guys have to find that in the.
Are we deciding now? I mean,
I think we're trying to.
Much as you can get done now, we don't have to worry about later.
I'm on board with Aaron. I think he knows what he's talking about. He's done the research. I think we should support that. It's just my opinion.
You know, we've had discussions, I think, in previous budget meetings about, you know, trying to give him all the tools in the toolbox.
Right.
Well, I appreciate it. At least the sentiment for sure.
I think the data is really interesting too, when you've given us,
Yeah, and
data you pushed out to us as part of your reports. I mean, it is interesting.
Yeah, and I'll be doing more of that. And it might not be every meeting, but more like a quarterly thing, just to, you know, so you don't get bogged down with, oh, here we go. Aaron's coming up with another, 10-minute spiel on Placer AI. But yeah, and plus this year was, I'm really starting to, I think, get a handle of this year again was kind of like you're working with the budget and going, whoa, you get a little overwhelmed. But now that I see how we're working with McDaniels and all these other moving parts, I'm feeling a lot more comfortable with that. So being able to kind of mechanize certain things and then get into that data and be able to, use that. I think I'll be more ready for that this year.
I'm a big tourism supporter, so I'm going to say yes, but I also haven't heard the rest of these, so I'm not comfortable saying yes, 100%.
Sure.
All tourism items. Same way with, with Dave with community development, I mean, until we kind of go through and hear from each of the department heads, I don't really want to say.
Sure. I just wanted to talk about it because I know, you've brought it up before that you feel like it's pretty valid. So we're sitting here. So I just figured I'd let him speak to the merit of it.
So are we bound to that by the year, or how does that?
Yeah, it's a yearly contract, and it seems like it's going to bump up by 8%. But I'm hoping maybe, if we want to play hardball next year and be like, hey, we can't afford going up above, maybe they'll just be like, okay, let's stay at that for right now.
Is the 2 login standard, or what if you dropped it down to 1 login?
I think we could possibly have some wiggle room there.
I bet, maybe you could share a login with.
Oh, right. Yeah. I don't think that would be a problem either. So, yeah. So.
Okay. Well, maybe put a little mark by that one and we'll maybe circle back around at the end after we talk through the other.
Any more questions? Anything else?
Thank you, Aaron. Next up,
Department.
police.
Good evening. I'm just kind of on this page, so, the biggest one we have is the SUVs, patrol cars. We've been putting Band-Aids on all of our cars.
Actually,
Huh?
major surgery.
Yes. That's our biggest thing right now is getting these vehicles replaced. We've been applying for a lot of grants, and I actually just submitted one yesterday to try to get another vehicle, trying to get ahead. The computers, same thing. The MDTs, everything's kind of got a lot of life cycle. We're already having issues out of some MDTs. The Blue Shield grant, I've already got 5 of them coming in. So we got 6 new ones right now. I just submitted for another 5. So if we get approved for that one, the computers are going to go down. And then our ballistic vest, there's 4 of us back there that need vests, including me. I don't have one. And then pepper ball guns. That's something we're looking at doing. Getting rid of shotguns, going to a non-lethal tool. Not less lethal, it's non, because it doesn't kill anybody. That's just more or less gives the officers some more tools to use for any kind of barricaded subjects, felony traffic stops. It goes to their cars. And they'll carry up front just like they do with their rifles.
How many guns are you talking about?
For this one, I just put 4. So this would be, we're going to see how it works. And then I'm trying to put them on grants as well.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm doing these grants, I'm looking ahead of time of everything. So like the Blue Shield next year, I plan on trying to do all brand new radars on our car, which radars are one of the items for like 2 years down the road for the city. So we're trying to take a lot of the burden off the city. And then if we get these pepper balls we do like and we do utilize them, then we're going to be putting them through grants and just trying to get them that way. if it's free, we try to put in for it, so
Okay.
save the city as much as we can. But again, like I said, the SUVs they're the crucial thing for us right now.
So you're trending away from the Dodge.
Absolutely. Every department is doing it right now.
Say you don't see them anywhere.
Nope. They're all having the same issue with motors going out. The sheriff's department's had the same issue with them. The cranks are going out, radiator hoses. I mean, it's just every time we turn around. We had 4 of them in the shop the past 2-3 weeks. We've been sharing cars back there. It's just been just a revolving door with the cars.
So you're going to the
Looking at doing Tahoes,
Tahoes.
more durable, more room. With these grants, we're getting a lot more equipment now, and there's just more room for these guys, or for the officers in general, to keep stuff in there and organized. And we're also putting brush guards on our vehicles now, so that'll help with any kind of wrecks and everything like that too. So anytime we get a new vehicle, it's being upfitted with a brush guard.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much my thing.
911 board, the dispatch.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not very familiar with all of it because Pollock's on that board. But I do know, he told me they're supposed to be up and running with those towers in like January.
Yeah.
So I would almost foresee us maybe slowly being able to pull away from that. Don't quote me 100%, but Pollock's the one that sits on the board and does all that stuff.
Abby, are we are we splitting that charge that for 911 dispatch between different departments, or was that the 120 was the original request that we made last year?
I think a lot of agencies pay into it, right?
Well, so they have this sales tax and they're collecting money. But they've also been collecting money from the city, the county, and the ambulance district to put money back for any capital improvements or anything that would break if they need or reserve. So we're paying about a little over $12,000. They reduced it down to $10,000 a month. What I'm put on here was let's offer $7,500 a month as of January 1st. Because I think that the tax is pulling in about $540,000. The entities are
Is the fire district,
charged about $450,000.
are you guys gonna be now separate and putting money into
Yeah.
911 dispatch?
We budgeted for dispatch fees, because we will be separate from the city.
Yeah. Do you remember how much you guys are budgeting for, because that'll be an addition to
We're anticipating $14,000
per month?
for the 4 months to get us through till the taxes come in.
14,000 per month or 14,000 for the
14
4?
for the 4 months, so
Okay, so 3,500 a month.
that's what we're anticipating. Because it's also, from what I understand, based on the call that you have, so the fire departments don't run as much calls, so they're not gonna have as high of a bill as what everyday police officer, the sheriff's department would have.
So, but we're right now paying as a city as a whole, including our existing fire department. So their addition of 3,500 would offset to, so our 7,500, your proposal of 75 still puts us at 11. That's more than the 10 that we were at.
Right.
So that we might even want to do 6,500. You know, okay. So
Yeah, because I didn't know we were going to carry them for the last 3 months as well. So that's an order for the 10,000 to continue until the end of December.
do you anticipate any grief from them on that proposal?
I don't think so. No.
I think they just kind of right now, any kind of help they get with it. So they understand a lot of city budgets and stuff like that too, so. That's all I got.
I'm sorry, and so that, you're recommended at 97.5,
Right.
that's your 7,500 a month?
Yes.
Okay.
That's for 9 months? Yeah.
And that's for, that'd be the only thing for the city because the fire department goes away, so that would be there's no other department has a 911, line item.
No,
Yeah.
it's just, it comes out of the police department, just, we keep it in one, so we're not.
Which is a general fund item, so it still comes out of our general fund.
So no other department except fire uses the
Yeah.
911.
Yep.
It's like 67.
Abby, can we clarify one thing real quick? So you said 97.5 was for,
9 months. 9 months is 7,500 plus the 30,000 that we would spend
30,000. Okay,
for October, November, December.
okay, gotcha.
I did that math.
No, I know you did. I'm sure you did. But we just heard the 9 months and we were a little confused. Right. Okay. Any other questions for Chief? Right
This
now?
is why we have Sue doing the treasurer stuff, not me. She hears this stuff. And
She was giving me the side eye though, instead of you. Right.
Happy to be far away.
Thank you, Chief.
Can we,
Oh, do you
can
want?
we agree, maybe, no, not really the chief, but if we change that 9 months to 6,500, that would save us $9,000 there. Is everyone okay with adding the 6,500 instead of 7,500 now on there? And that would get us $9,000 extra.
But
Are you okay with us doing that, Abby, right now?
I'm going to talk to the 911 folks and tell them this is what the city has appropriated.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that would be
Just save us $9,000.
6,500 times 9 months plus 30,000? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So put you at what,
88.5?
Let's get two places.
What is everybody, do you guys, what thoughts?
Fine with me.
That, I mean, that's Placer AI plus some.
Still seems like we're being generous with 911 dispatch.
Okay.
Well, with 3 months, Kenny's paying that 3 months too?
Now, I figured we would cover them because their funds are gonna have the money that we would allocate here, we'll talk about in a minute, from the rural fire fund. That'll help get them through those 3 months. So they've got a number of expenses that they haven't had to pay for.
They don't actually get funds till January or,
Right.
so they're gonna be turned over in October, but they actually don't receive any funds. So
Yeah.
Eighty-eight 5 is that new?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right, and then, well, next up, Chief Stag.
Good evening, everyone. Here on behalf, obviously, of the newly formed fire district, and I just have the one request of the turnover of the rural fire fund. And I'm going to ask for what we currently have, and we also have an outstanding check for reimbursement from money that was paid out of the rural fire fund that's out there that I would like to see the city turn over also. Just to make everybody aware, the fire department, I've been chief now for 10 years, and we've done everything we could from our side to help the city out. We've bought close to $1 million in equipment off of grants at either free to the city or greatly reduced amounts. So we've done what we can. So this is, in our opinion, the city's chance to help the district get off on the right foot. In the June work session, I was asked to come back with a better, more accurate budget on what we thought we had to have. And I gave Happy a copy of that. Maybe you guys saw it too. For the bare necessities, we anticipate a need of $103,000 for bare necessities. That's not putting anything extra in there. That's just what we need to get by. Any additional funding that we would receive, I would like to, and I would recommend to our board
Kenny, that's from October 1st till January,
to the end of January.
to the end of
That gives us the month of January to collect the funds. Any additional funds that we can get over the 103, I would propose to my board, and obviously it'd be their discretion to use it how they see fit, to try to do some repairs around the firehouse. And I tried to have in the budget last year. I had quotes for about $68,000 for concrete and asphalt repairs. So I would like to see that if we have any additional funds, put some of that towards improving the building that I couldn't get in while I was still in the city budget. So I would be open to any questions.
So can you speak on what's actually in the rural fire fund now? And you're actually requesting only a portion of that?
Obviously, I'd like to have everything, but we'll take what we can get. the minimum I can get by with is 103. I was sitting down with Sue earlier today, and we found some numbers, and we think right now it's about 113,000 is what's in there currently. And we anticipate a return reimbursement check for 120,000 that was paid for the last ARPA grant, a reimbursement check of 60,900. So if you combine the two, that'd be 174,000.
Which that money would go right back into the rural fire fund, right?
The 60,000,
Right.
if we were still city-based, it would go back into the rural fire fund.
Well, I mean, and I've heard it many, many times already from county taxpayers, or not taxpayers, fire tag holders, that if we don't turn that money over, that they pay that money to support the fire department. And they feel that that money should stay with the fire department, and I agree with them. You know, I mean, that's the rural fire fund.
Right, you just mentioned the county though, but it's not the entire county, it's basically our.
It is our coverage area, yeah, the area that we still fire tax.
Right, I'm sorry, the ones that are in our coverage area, yes.
Yeah.
Which these people were, you know, they said if we're not gonna transfer it all over, that it should be distributed back, and I agree with that.
Yeah, I do.
Agree with you too. So with that in mind, would that help with some of the things you need to do to?
Yeah, anything over like I said, I anticipate about 103,000 is what we need to do, because there's going to be dispatch fees, and we even have water and sewers charges and things like that we've never had before, IT companies. So I anticipate the need for 103. Anything over and above that could be used for improvements around the firehouse that I was trying to get into last year. If anybody's been out there lately, you can see some of the concrete around the building is cracked up and a potential tripping hazard. And then we also have, the whole place is built on fill. And with cracks in the asphalt, water gets in there and it's washing away some of the stuff underneath. We're going to start having problems with the parking lot sinking and sagging. So I can't guarantee that any money turned over would be spent that way, but with the board that I have, I anticipate them listening to my request and doing as much as they can with what they have given to them.
I'd hate the backlash of people coming back to us and say, we paid this in for fire protection and now it's not being used for that, it's being used for something else. I mean, I'm not in that group, but if I was, I would be,
Abby, do you have that money earmarked for anything else? The CD that was there and the other rural fire fund, the general, do you have that money earmarked for anything for this upcoming budget?
Not until this board would make a final decision. What I would like to do is look at trying to get a better accounting software system for the city. We looked at that for an improvement, because much of what is in the fire fund now is also grant funds. So that's where a lot of that extra comes back, is it's not technically all of the fire tax that people pay for. It's also the grant funds the county has been able to secure over the years.
yeah, I don't know that it would make any difference to me if it was grants for the fire department.
Well, that grant money just restocked what was paid out
Yeah,
from the rural fire fund. Anyway.
we paid, the grants that I've written over the last few years have gone anywhere from a 0 match all the way up to a 50% match. The last one we did, the ARPA, was a 50%. So we got $120,000 worth of equipment, and the city only had to pay basically $60,000 or $61,000. But we had to pay out of the rural fire fund the full 120 to show that it's paid for, and then the government reimburses us at $60,900. So we bought $120,000 worth of equipment for $60,000.
So theoretically, it's still rural fire fund money.
That's the way we traditionally have done it. Use the rural fire fund to pay our grant expenses and then put whatever reimbursement back into that account.
But it's grants that were awarded for the rural fire fund needs.
They were granted for the fire department in general.
Right.
We just use the rural fire fund because it's really hard to budget for grant expenses if you don't know if you're going to be successful in the grant. So we used it as for lack of a better term, a grant slush fund. If we got a grant, we could reach into the rural fire fund and use it as a reserve to cover those grant expenses.
It's much easier to track with the expenses out of the fire department that way, instead of trying to mix it in with the general fund.
Right. I mean, still, I agree with you. It's still the same. You know, it was awarded for the fire department, should stay in the fire department.
But I'm reminded that when we had this discussion with Mark Bishop, he also said that it is general fund money. So we call it the fire fund, but it is brought in as general fund type money, we just dedicated it to fire department.
Yeah, but legal doesn't always
Right.
supersede.
Yeah.
Right, would we be awarded those grants if it wasn't for something for firefighting?
You know, Kenny,
Yeah,
the way I feel about it is,
it's me.
we trust you. You're gonna do the right thing. You're gonna appropriate that in the right areas, this money. The thing is, you didn't write the grants, you would never had it anyway. So you're always going for grants, trying to get money into the fire department. I think you well deserve all the money.
I appreciate your confidence in me. That means a lot.
Is there anybody else that wants to try to hold on to that in general funds?
No.
I don't think so. We're gonna have to find the software money someplace else, Abby.
So,
I definitely appreciate the support. You guys have always been good to the fire department. We've done what we could to help on our side too. So always appreciate the support I've had here. And as I've told Happy and some of the other department heads, once we do separate, I do not intend to separate and be enemies. I still want to occasionally come and make a report to the board as to what we're doing and things, keeping in touch and keeping working with the building department and everything. There's no reason for us to separate and be separated. We should be separated and working together.
You know, I still look at it from a standpoint, we're looking at $1.5 million next truck. Now we don't have to come up with that money out of the city budget. So these other little fun things to me are incidental. Where would we come up with $1.5 million to buy the next bumper truck? We're relieved of that now by the fire district. So this is not a question.
So just so you're also aware that misplacement is in the general fund. So the money that was supposed to go to the rural fire is actually put in the general. So you will see a change next week in our balance in the general fund. It'll lead to the negative, but.
So why do you have to do that when they're still operating?
So the deposit was in the general fund, not the rural fire fund. So again, the dedicated line, we didn't reflect it in the right fund. We brought it in the wrong one. So we have to pull it out. We have to move it to one savings account to the other.
Any other questions?
I don't think so.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Chief. Next up tonight, we've got streets and parks.
Good evening. Streets, we have Prop S road work, which that is what it is. Street improvements, 15,000, that's for 7th Street Bridge. These repairs over there, the permit has been approved through DNR, correct? So,
It's not DNR Corps of Engineers.
sorry, Corps Engineers on that. The TAP grants are in progress right now, per Happy. Sidewalk grant repairs is 35,000. I think that's up 5,000 from last year. I think the city's looking about the reimbursement, I think 750 right now. There's talks about maybe taking up to 1,000. So maybe get a little more motivation for people repairing their sidewalks. Prop S transfers. Let's say once again what it is. Street sweeper in there. Street sweeper we have now is in rough shape. We're always throwing money at it, pretty much, not every time we run it, but pretty much every time we run it. It needs a few things for the water system so it doesn't, create a dirt cloud going down the road. I took out the other day on a new asphalt for about half a block, and the head is dragging, so it was tearing up the asphalt. So that's why we haven't been on the new asphalt with it, because
How old is that machine?
13 years old. It's 2012.
So this is the cost for a whole new one?
If you go through and do repairs, I'd say, top of my head, I've been talking to John with Armor Equipment, probably 25,000 to 30,000 to get it back up where everything's going.
Oh, just one time?
Do what?
That's just a one-time cost?
Yeah, still have the 2012 sweeper, but it'd be up to where it could be. So and there's parts have been. I'm sorry.
I see it a lot more around.
Yeah, like I said, downtown, like I said, it starts scratching new asphalt, so we pulled off there, but we got the parts ordered for that.
How much do you think we're spending annually on repairs and,
You're probably, this past year, I'd say you're probably 13 to 15,000.
pretty typical?
Well, there's a big old turbine on it, that's what creates a vacuum, that we replaced that, which was a huge expense. But, I don't foresee it being that much this year, like I said, since that's been replaced, but the water system is, like I said, needs, one pump got robbed from one side to go to the other. So there's several parts that need to be done. The pony motor, which runs the sweeping part, it needs it's got an oil leak on it, so the valve cover gasket, we need to do some work on it, but
Is this 229.8, is that for another sweeper like this one?
yeah, that's a Timco, yeah, just, there's a few other brands that could be a little cheaper, but like I said, that's pretty much a direct replacement of this one.
How did we pay for the back truck all at once?
I think that was part of a loan. That was bought before I got it. I'm not sure if it was part of a COP or was it paid out?
We paid it out.
Okay.
Yeah. I think half came from
The
that.
back truck wasn't before
Oh,
you.
back,
No, yeah, back truck.
Yeah.
back, paid out, yeah.
That's
That
paid
was
out.
out of 2 departments too. That was out of
Water and sewer.
Right, but we don't know anything for it. Right.
Any more questions on the sweeper?
Is 12 years about the anticipated life of that Timco sweeper?
Depends, I mean, 10 to 20 years is what they usually recommend on them. There's five, good.
So whole basic, I mean, drivetrain and everything seems to be pretty solid. It's just that vacuums and stuff like that, brushes.
Yeah, I mean, it needs just a good going through, yeah.
Right.
Like I think the AC, I mean, it still works and the heat still works. I just, stuff every day. I mean, some water pumps and stuff like that need to be.
About how many hours you think you've got accumulated on that machine?
I ain't gonna lie to you, I'd have to look and see.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm not in that thing very often, so I'll give you that number though.
All the vehicles are up to, got some coming.
Yeah, I got 3 pickups coming.
Right.
3 other ones will be gone, which then everything, all the fleet is, looking in good shape.
Because I know now we're all buying new. We used to buy a lot of used stuff,
Yeah.
but now we're buying all.
Yes. Yeah, one of the trucks that be up for sale, I mean, it's got a salvage title, so that's one of the used ones we had, so.
I didn't think about that for a while.
And I can get you guys more.
Well, their quote was less than 30,000 to.
Right around 30,000. I can get exact numbers for you guys.
I know it was in pretty rough shape a while back, but I mean,
Oh, we suck water, like that turbine is the biggest part that
Right.
creates your vacuum, and it took us about 4 days, but we replaced that, and I think that was like $8,000 if I'm not mistaken. So that was the biggest part of the maintenance this year on it.
so this is all work we can do in-house.
Yeah.
Right.
If we were to spend 30,000 on this machine, would that buy us 1 year, 2 years?
No, I mean, 3 to 5 years probably.
3 to 5?
Yeah.
So Corey, help me understand something. With the street sweeper, I mean, obviously it sweeps the streets, but what about a leaf sweeper? Because is this street sweeper supposed to really suck up the leaves?
And that's one of the problems with the pickup head, and that we have issues with it. Yep.
Just fills up faster.
Yeah.
Yes.
I saw Larry, he had to get out and hand suck up a bunch of stuff because it won't pick it up sometimes. And
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
out there using the wand thing and trying to,
Yeah.
gets real deep. He's out there kicking up his boot, trying to.
Yeah. The head's the next thing that needs the most work on it, which is a pickup head.
see how many hours is on
Yeah,
that.
will do.
So we
Yep.
know the drivetrain. I mean, drivetrains have a limit.
Yeah.
That's why I asked that, you know, every engine's got its anticipated
Yep.
life cycle. If it's near the end of that, there's no need to spend any money on the whole machine.
Right.
You've got 2 engines on it, right? One for the sweeper, one for
The big itself, yeah. Yeah. It's a 00 diesel and then the pony motor's a little diesel as well.
The street trees. Is there a plan, I've never seen a plan of what they're gonna do with downtown. And I'm not really aware of what kind of trees and where you're putting trees or,
Happy, you got any input on that? Cause,
So there's been a discussion with board members and the public about what trees, about putting trees back in, but we've taken them out downtown. But nothing's ever coalesced as to what those trees are gonna be. And we have an idea where they're gonna go. We've already located the areas. But the trees themselves, we talked about the trees they use in Farmington, you know, flanking as to what they are.
Redbud and,
It's columnar or something.
it's collar hornbeam.
So, yeah. So those are the ones that have been recommended that we use downtown. They're the easiest to maintain and their life cycle is pretty long.
Is that the ones where the root structure doesn't, it goes down as opposed to out?
Straight down.
Okay.
so you're working with the park people as far as gate down there.
It's really private folks that want to do, it's a street project, so it's actually just private folks that talk about wanting to put the trees in. We've also been told there may be donations, but we haven't had anything firm given to our department or to the city as to how they want to proceed on that.
Can you
Aldermen.
talk to the businesses down there? Because I got complaints about, they're glad the trees are gone.
You could tree that.
You can see the front of the business now instead of a tree. They said we make our windows real pretty and everything, and it's nice, even for holidays and things. And you can't see them because there's trees in them. So I just think you need to make sure that's what they want downtown. And what kind of trees? Not ones that's gonna grow right in front of them, or spread out right in front of the building.
Right. What they did down were kind of, just kind of grew out, didn't have a good structure to them. And they weren't maintained well enough either, so I think that's part of it, is we have to make sure we maintain them so we keep that structure looking.
Right, they were cherry trees, but,
I have them tear.
they were pretty when they bloomed and everything, looked nice, but they were just kind of distracting.
Yeah.
Okay, I just kind of get the feel what's going on with that.
Before I want to go back to this TAP grant, you said that was basically for,
Mine,
so that is for our bridge?
no, 10 grants are for 4th Street and for, St. Mary's Road.
Oh,
Those are the sidewalks. So it's the sidewalk connection on South 4th Street and the sidewalk between Seraphim and Hillside on St. Mary's Road.
So not all the way down?
St. Mary's Road?
Yeah, thank you. Not all the way.
Just that one section.
Oh my God.
I mean, that's a long street. We
Yeah.
do not have the funds available.
But if we're not gonna do it all, I wouldn't understand why doing the water.
Gotta start somewhere.
Do the rest.
That was a discussion from the board in 2022. What they wanted to see now.
Okay.
It gets tourists with a historic property.
Yeah.
Okay.
so where's the money for our part of the bridge out here if that happens in 2026?
We have not allocated anything for that. We've had a request, but nothing formal.
They've never given us a number as far as I know
Yeah, we have.
that they're gonna need.
Well, the grant's 7.
Well, no, not the, I'm sorry, not the St. Mary's Road. This was for the bridge on
Right,
4th Street.
right.
Yeah,
That's a flat grant. County is overseeing all of that.
But the grant is for a set time. And they already told us it's over $1 million and they have, what, 750 or something?
so while we're on the bridge discussion, what's being done with the one on Fourth?
So fourth, we got to pay out for the damage that was done. However, to replace it will cost more than probably what that amount was because of needing to bring it up to a certain code. We leave it as is for now, and on your 5-year plan, you'll see where we're looking at. New bridge in about 3 years.
Okay, so that's not gonna be on this budget.
No, we don't. That's in the future. And that'll help, that'll put 13,000 toward the new bridge.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, anything else for Corey on streets? Okay, let's move on to parks.
There's $25,000 for a splash pad. I do believe the Rotary.
It's at the part of the project where the park board wants to dedicate $25,000 to put it in the budget, and then Rotary has $25,000. And then you'll end up with maintenance and that over the years as well.
I'm all for this project, but I think they need to rethink the location. Is my only bugaboo on this. I don't think the Corey League Field is a good location for this.
I agree.
And
I agree with you.
I'm okay dedicating funds for it, and I think it's a great idea, but I think it's got to be in the park. I mean, that's the park master plan shows it in the park.
So if I understand this right,
Yeah,
25,000 will go towards the splash park.
Yeah,
And the Rotary 25,000 will reimburse this or be a part of
no,
Additional.
additional.
it? So it'll be 50,000 the Rotary does it.
Well, I think the park board's gonna oversee it. I think the Rotary Club is just donating funds.
They said maybe 25, so I'm just trying to figure out.
Yeah.
This, what the park is putting in besides the Rotary?
Yes.
Correct.
Oh,
In
okay.
addition to the Rotary
Right,
funds. Yes,
okay.
correct.
And that's still, there's been a lot of other splash pads cost a lot more than $50,000, so.
it's gonna be more than $50,000.
Yeah, I
We're
think,
working on grants.
Yeah.
too.
I think Perryville spent about 300,000.
Yeah, that's my understanding too. It was definitely over 200, I know that.
Yeah.
We have the utilities there to support it.
On Corley, no. You have to cut the new street and run the water line up there. And there's only a 1-inch service line that feeds those 3 houses.
But in the park,
Park where if you go with the old pool, I think that's where the park plan shows it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's water right there and then the sewer's off the hill.
All the infrastructure's there and there's other attractions there. It just
Right.
makes so much sense to put it there. I would,
It's out of the floodplain too.
there's
Yes.
that too.
I hate. to
We couldn't put
say
any
that, But
permanent structure
I'm
there,
okay
right?
with either one.
You're not putting
But I
a
don't
permanent
agree with
structure
the other.
because it's not.
Right.
Well, if you needed a bathroom or anything like that,
Then you have certain regulations to bring that bathroom up to code, or you raise it up, or you.
well, which is gonna just increase the cost of the whole project. We're already operating, at least with that project, they're already scraping for funds. I don't know. I would earmark it with, I'm fine with that. It's just my opinion. It's just gotta go at the park. Just can't see, I think the cost is gonna get out of control at the Quarry League Field.
I agree.
yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'm on board for that. I can bring it up too.
All right. Want to talk about trash cans now?
And, yeah,
More exciting thing.
yeah, there you go. 5,400 just replace all the trash cans, all locations. The bonds are rusted out and they're, majority of them are just trash.
How many cans are getting on it?
Man, what is there?
There's like about 8 cans.
How many?
8.
8?
8.
Man.
Look, I'm trying to.
So if you look downtown, with those cans that we have on Market Street, down at the Welcome Center, you have the bars that go down, inside the inserts, they're $800. But they will last. We hope.
Could get that in nice pickup.
Right, there you go.
Wow.
That's something I took on.
All right, we good with parks? Everybody okay there?
Yep.
All right. Fun stuff, I'm sure. Start with water.
Tanker chassis, that's our line truck. That thing is definitely wore out more than the street sweeper. That's, that you're looking, the hours and everything, the mileage on that thing, it's, the oil leak, we got put probably a gallon of oil a week in it. The clutch needs to be replaced. There's several mechanical issues with it. Excuse me. The tank, we can use a tank. The tank's in good shape, so just the chassis is what we're looking for on that. Takes it down to filter cylinder replacement. That's for the water plant for all the filters to operate correctly. Water tank improvements, that's a contract the city has through USG for the water tower and the maintenance on it. Water well improvements, that's 2 wells getting cleaned every year. Hydrant replacement, there's some hydrants out there in the system that are from the 40s, getting hard to get parts for, so we're gonna start doing a replacement program on them. The water plant roof, that thing is in desperate need of repair. Every time it rains outside, it rains inside as well, so it's definitely in dire need of it. Same thing with the plant doors. There's 2-3 inches at the bottom of each door that's rusted out from the chlorine, so small animals can get in there. Water meters, that's for the raw water coming in from the water plant. Them got to be, that's something that DNR monitors. And then water main improvement, that'd be the Oakwood loop over there, getting finished up.
Where's that at?
Oakwood, the loop from, yeah, there you go. They ran up to Brookdale last time and stopped, and that would get that loop in there.
So I see that number cut way down.
So we have master plan on water main improvements. This year's was supposed to be $739,000. We do not see that being in the budget. So what I've done is cut it down to the $139,000 that it would cost to finish Oakwood. We started Oakwood 2 years ago, year and a half ago, and we're paving Oakwood. So we're going to pave up to that point. If we do the rest of Oakwood, which is that loop that goes in back, then we can finish the pavement, the concrete pavement. So at this point, we're holding off on that. We have to do this water line first. Most of the water line is in the yards, but there's a crossing that we have to do. I don't want to put in that concrete and have to cut it out. You get it from. It's not something that, anyway, that's one of the, that's one of the things that's why we considered that when we put the 139. I figure based on the budget that I've seen, we can afford that. We can't mess up that.
If you're looking for somebody to cut out concrete, I know somebody that's.
They're getting really good at it.
That thing more goes out.
Feels that way.
Looks good.
Everything good there? Well, okay.
We didn't file a claim for, the roof, the water plant roof? When we had the hail damage?
I can try.
I think when we have somebody look at it, to start getting prices, solid prices on
See
it,
what they find.
see if they find hail damage.
I bet they would do.
That's what they did.
But we didn't have, nobody checked that after that one hailstorm. A year ago.
Hey,
Almost two.
I mean, that's right in line with
And they got some clear panels up there too, so.
With these hydrant replacements.
Yep.
I mean that all the hydrants in town will have breakaway safety on them, and if they're knocked down, they don't drain.
All the ours will not drain now.
That's
They're-
what I'm saying.
they're-
Upgraded, will have no old fashioned.
Yeah.
You know, most people don't, they run over this modern hydrant.
Right. Yeah, they're all dry barrel. Yep. Traffic breakaways.
So that includes the one on Roller.
That's already purchased. Yep, that'll be, the Prop S has kept us pretty busy with problems.
So the electrical thing we did down there last with the water plant, everything's working.
The generator is still, not hooked up. I've been in contact with BT Electric. Happy's aware of it, so I'm trying to get him back down there and see what we got going on.
It's not hooked up.
No. Yep. Man.
That was an oversight. I don't know how that happened. Nobody
Yeah.
was told everything was done. The engineer was told everything was done. We made final payment.
I've made several calls, just, won't return a phone call on it.
So we're still operating off that old stuff inside?
No, just a generator.
Oh.
An emergency, yeah. No, everything in the building's working now.
Yeah, all the cats.
okay, we want to go to sewer? Like, we go with water?
Yep.
All right,
All
we're on sewer.
right, 45,000 for the collection system study. The sewer erection, that's a 1,000,000-gallon tank down there. That thing's we need to get some air.
I'm sorry, Corey, on the collection study, what part of town is that?
That's all over the city.
Yeah.
Current study that we're performing. It's gonna take a year and a half, so we're into the first half of that year.
Yeah, it's ongoing. 1,000,000-gallon tank aeration. We gotta get that thing moving down there. It's got its own ecosystem on top of it. We'll have to log it before we can put aeration in it. It hasn't had aeration in there since I've been with Alliance, so, and even years before that, so. About every 6 or 7 years, train's gotta come in with a clamshell bucket and clean it out, so it's pretty costly doing that. And then, new influent meter, that's, also something that's, governed by DNR. And it went out a month or so ago, got prices on everything, but we just wait till the budget year.
Where is the influent meter at?
Right before where the ditch is up on the hill, it's a manhole down there. Yep. That pipe that comes from lift station 1 that's pumped up the hill.
And that measures if we're, discharging.
No, incoming, how many millions of gallons per day, yeah.
From the wells?
No, this is wastewater. So from lift station 1 there. It helps like with monitor, like with throughout rains and everything, you can see what the jump and everything is.
You had this $225,000 number in there for this building ad on Market Street. I mean, what were you looking for there? Not that.
We were wanting to come off the back of the building and build like a lean-to, with some more storage to keep everything inside right now. We got vac trucks stuffed in there, all the dump trucks, and we're just having to start pushing stuff outside for the weather. City put together a nice fleet of vehicles and everything, so we try to keep everything inside, but it's just not going to be feasible.
I know we talked about that whole water plant and that blown clarifier, and the only one in the state still operating, and how long? I mean, I'd hate to spend $225,000 on something we'd be tearing down, but, you know, it's been taken out, I understand that, but, you know, looking at the bigger picture is, you know, obviously we're looking at something more major years down the road here.
590 Market is a street shed, so it's not the plant itself. We're doing it on site because the consideration is down the road, probably within 5 years, we're gonna need a new water plant. So we'll be looking at that.
I think we don't have to buy any fire trucks.
Okay,
So
go ahead.
when did we talk about this, the letter from Alliance?
We talk about it now because it is part of the budget in water and sewer.
I guess it's kind of confusing here, you know, we're talking about chemical increase, we're talking about general liability insurance. Doesn't the city pay for all the chemicals?
No, Alliance says.
No.
CO2, chlorine, chlorine went up 58% after its first quarter of the year, so it's definitely taking a jump.
I just thought we paid for everything.
City pays for lime, but no, Alliance pays for the other chemicals.
It's a pretty sizable increase. You know, I keep hearing that it's a lesser number of the inflationary, you know, number of the government puts out is 2.5, 2.7%, so, you know, this comes to about 50 grand. It's hard to, you know, other than just asking for an increase, it's hard to justify expenses without knowing, you know, what did the chemicals go up? What did the general liability go up? I mean, just something that seemed like that's not our business, but.
Eric, if we're getting this year's.
I do have a breakdown because I thought maybe that would come up. So, say what?
You knew I was gonna be here.
As far as the chemicals go, we, in this current year, have a budget of $26,000. Next year, we are anticipating that going to $40,000. So that was a 53.85% increase on chemicals. On our, we have an equipment and insurance line item where we have budgeted $52,677. We anticipate those expenses next year being $64,995, and that was a 23.38% increase.
Okay, we're up to 27. Just rough numbers where, you know, those two items and stuff.
Oh.
14,000 in chemical and 13,000 in
So,
liability, but
right.
the overall increase is right at 50,000.
Mm-hmm. So the majority of our budget is salaries and benefits for our people, right? That makes sense. We're contract operators, so it's the people.
Right.
Is the majority of thing that you're paying for. And so the increase on that line item for us for salaries and wages is $11,719. That was just a 1.65% increase. And then on our benefits, we have an increase there of $5,520. That was a 1.81% increase. I'd be happy to share a copy of this with you too, Bob, but those are the biggest ones.
You know, as you know, everybody's suffering through this, you know, the city suffers through this with an increase. You guys have an increase. We only got so much money coming in here and everybody's increasing, we're paying out more. But the thing, what has Alliance done as far as looking at other options, you might have an increase in trying to pin that down where it's not so large. I'm not sure.
So as far as the chemical go, and then again, that was our greatest percentage increase this year was chemicals. We do put that out for a competitive bid every year. So we are confident we are getting the best prices as far as those chemical goes. And that's just something that the entire nation is seeing is the increase on those chemicals. And then
Much money and everything increases.
and again, I think that this was a reasonable increase on salaries and wages. We're looking at a 1.65% increase, and we really want to take care of our people. So that seemed like a workable number. Again, the bottom line, though, there was the chemicals and insurance, which are for the most part really out of our control. In our contract, it does state that the increase every year with Alliance is to be between 2% and 4%. So we are within that range.
Okay. And the contract would do it.
Well, we are coming into the last year, to the 26th is the last year where this upcoming year would be talking about making some changes as you'd like to see fit.
Okay. That answers things. Happy's gone out, tried the different insurance companies. And trying to find, I'm not.
We do, yes. We do that too, yes.
I don't know that. All right, thank you.
So if I was to ask you, compared to other municipalities that you service, how does our increase compare to those?
I don't know that I wouldn't have that off the top of my head. I could certainly find out.
Not that I'm, thinking you're treating us unfairly, but I would just, it would be interesting to just see how we compare. In this annual repair limit, did we get anything back from that this year or not? Nothing?
Well, we're not done with the year yet.
Right.
Last year we did.
There's a little tiny bit, I think, at the end, just a small amount, yeah.
Go, Bob.
I'm gonna bring a picture.
$86.
Well, there goes our software upgrade.
Yeah, that'll do it, I think.
Erica, how many municipal customers do you have now, roughly?
Oh, it's probably, I'm going to say 18-ish. I don't think we're quite at the 20 mark.
How many of those do you do departments other than water and sewer out of those 18? How many do you do other departments besides?
So the other there's one other location off the top of my head. No, we have 3 full public works clients. And then the other,
Or one of those 3?
you are one of the 3 public works clients that we have, yes.
Is that one of them?
Nope.
No.
Isn't it Bowling Green, Missouri?
Bowling Green is the closest one,
They
yeah.
were one of the first ones to go to.
And then the rest of our clients is water districts and sewer districts.
So you have the breakdown out of this 1.6 out of the 3 water, sewer, and public works, what each one of those are, or do you not break that?
I do not break that down. That's something I could try to do for you, but on our end, again, we're just basically providing the people and these other expenses that we've talked about, chemicals and tools and travel repairs. But no, I could attempt to break that down for you if that's something you'd be interested in.
Right. I know you've been aware that we have a situation out in one of the subdivisions stuff, and we've asked for expertise to help fix those problems. And I know Corey and the guys have been very busy with everything we're doing, streets and stuff like that. They've had their hands full. Not to mention the normal breakdowns and stuff like that, but we're getting down to the point that people are getting tired of being delayed. I don't blame them, but we really need to concentrate. We need to have a high level agreement here that you can bring in some experts and you can help find out what the problem is and stuff, because I think the local guys are pretty busy firsthand, and I think they will be for a little bit, but we need extra help. And we need it now to get started on some of this stuff. I know I've talked to Corey about it, and they want to try, but like I said, I see them all over town taking care of stuff. I think they're fine, but I think we need to take it to the next level. We owe these people some definitive answers, but we've got to have more help here. And it's always been my understanding with Alliance is they have this, because they do this in so many places, but we really need to see some experts in town soon helping these guys locally to get this problem somehow, so we can find out. If not, I mean, there's other places, there's expertise on these sewer lines that do all kind of amazing things, but it's time now to pull the plugs out and get something done. It's got to be a priority. It can't be just when we get time. We owe our citizens. I've always said I want to fix the problem, not just hand out money. But anyhow,
Okay.
that's important.
And I understand you have started smoke testing, or you're planning to start smoke testing Tuesday. So, heard loud and clear though.
Anything else, water, street related? Sorry, water, sewer, park, streets, I guess that's all.
Question.
Yes.
If that passes the smoke test over there, and we assume everything's okay, but we still got a problem, is everybody gonna just walk away and say, well, that's the smoke test,
No, that's your
we're done with it, or are you gonna bring another level of expertise in to see what's going on? We need to get that problem fixed.
Right. So, depending on what the results of that smoke test are, would determine what our next steps are. But certainly the answer isn't just walking away.
Okay, so that needs to be pursued, Bob said.
Yep.
We get that.
Okay, any other questions? Thanks, Erica. Thank you, Corey.
All right, so administration, legislative, I'm all over the board on this proposed large capital, so we'll be going from front to back. From the legislative, when we did the $10 million bond issue, one of the questions that we were asked by the bond company was where your sources going to be, and gave us a number of, if we wanted $10 million for the bond issue, we needed to come up with X amount of money each year. So we dedicated $100,000 out of the general fund, along with the portion from street and a portion from the capital improvement tax that is in our debt service. So those are what is helping pay for that $10 million bond issue. So you've talked about Placer AI, that you'd like for that to remain. SGTV, that is a tax that we get from cable TV. That number is being reduced year to year. This year, we look at an expenditure for SGTV at $28,250. That's also revenue that's coming in. Parkland Ready, again, our portion of it is the full portion of 5154. You can decide if you want to appropriate it or not. And then with the Chamber of Commerce, we brought this up last year, that we had a discussion with the Chamber president. I think last year she gave a rundown of exactly what the Chamber does for the city. However, I still don't feel that it it is the mission of the city to support the Chamber of Commerce. We get no benefit from that. We still have to pay dues. We pay for all the events that we go to. And I don't feel that I don't know what need there is to support for $6,000 or $500 a month. But it's up to the board to decide yay or nay on that. So that's why I put in a 0 recommendation for that. Any questions?
Do we lose our discount then on our insurance because we use the,
We're still members. We still join the Chamber of Commerce.
oh, this is not the membership.
No, this is just a separate fund or separate check that we write every month. For administration, we talked about it a little bit earlier, the landscape architect, that's to get things going on the outside of the building to decide how we want it to look or come up with some plans on that. For the website renewal, we have ARPA money left over for the next 2 years, which has been appropriated for that. So you'll see that for the next couple of years. Moving down to, yes, sir.
On this landscape architect, $35,000 to get this drawn up. I mean, that's all well and fine, but we're gonna have a major modification or something for Gibson when they get rid of that bridge. That design gonna include something for that.
I'm not sure I follow.
Well, they're gonna say gonna be the 360 around the building, this corner over here of this parking lot, it is sure gonna be disruption, but that whenever the bridge is built, consider any of that.
So you're talking about South 4th Street Bridge?
This is Fourth Street.
Okay. I don't think that it extends up to our parking lot. I mean, that would be a major length encroachment past South Gabry Street as well. So it's going to be between South Gabry and then however far it would go up on South 4th Street in front of the mill.
So you're not gonna develop there where the parking lot goes over to the guardrail.
The gravel.
The gravel parking lot, that's a possibility, but I don't know if and the bridge is supposed to be next year. We're just looking at trying to come up with the plans.
Right.
Yeah, if you want to pave that outer parking lot, then
That's what I was kind of getting, if you're gonna really dress that up over there, then they come through and dig it all up.
well, we're just looking to draw. We're not looking to do at this point. Yeah. So yeah, it's a good point. Anything else? All right, back page, cemetery tax, second line from the top. So we're looking at the Crestlawn expansion. We have not received the engineering from that yet. I'm a little disappointed. But when we get those plans, we can decide how we want to expand Crestlawn as it fills up at this point. We have, I can't remember what the acreage is, a little bit to the south as you go towards Progress Parkway. So we're looking at expanding that. With stormwater, that has to be included. But it's a lot of dirt. It would be a lot of trucks and a lot of dirt to do that fill. So I'm waiting to see what the drawings are. This will also, they should be here before the end of the budget year. So this would all be construction for Crestlawn. And then memorial tree maintenance is a memorial cemetery. That is the foundation. That was what the board approved over the next 5 years, was a plan to maintain those trees so that we don't have as many dead branches falling. Make sure that those trees are alive and well. So the main portion of it is this year, it'll be $16,780, and it will be within, after October 1st. So it's in our next budget year.
Does the city own that cemetery property now that we're expanding to, or does the church own?
No, we have it. It's hard to see now because of the corn, but there is a white stake that's out there that is our property corn. Yeah, it's past that, kind of.
Church?
Yeah. Yeah, they extend all the way to Progress Parkway, but we have a portion of that from where we stop now. We go, maybe 80 feet, 90 feet to the south.
Okay. And that drainage there is going to be.
That's why we have an engineer drawing it. Exactly. Yep. Okay. All right, moving down the page to downtown TIF. It's past sewer. So the TIF is what we collect from the downtown TIF that we have existing. We're expecting 46,000 to, we're expecting a little more than 46,000 maybe for revenue. But we pay out, we keep some for ourselves because we had expenses to draft it and get it going. So our expected payout's about $46,000. Debt service, we have certificates of participation, and we have the Prop S bond and the water tank. I think the certificates are going to be paid off though, right? Or is that separate certificates?
That one's separate.
Yeah. So we have those with the monies coming in to debt service. That is what will help pay for those debts that we have. Again, for Prop S, it's out of street administration or general fund, and part of the tax that we have in the that we get from half-cent sales tax, which is an improvement tax. Rural Fire Fund we talked about. Capital projects, we have nothing planned for capital projects this year, so it stays the same. Just to bring your attention to some numbers I put at the bottom. IT management, that was 11% increase on that. Health insurance, we dropped where we had a 9% increase as opposed to the full 25% increase that we were looking at, which actually works out to be about 15% increase. And then with the change to MIRMA as our insurer, we dropped that amount down 25%. And that's also including cybersecurity. So we've made a major change there on the recommendation of Lakenan. And that's all of it. So the plan is you can make some decisions tonight. We will redo the proposed items and then include what we need to with the capital items and with the overall budget. Include that also with the line items that you see on your line item pages. So we will, if you want to give X amount to the fire department out of the rural fire fund, you want the whole total to go to them, we will then change that. It'll change all of our numbers here, but we can get that back to you. The idea is that the next work session next week, we would bring that to you for your approval. We can do a little bit of a discussion in if you want to. I don't want people to forget what we've been talking about tonight and then extend the time next week, but it's up to the board on how you want to do that. But the plan is to finish up next week, next Thursday, and then by the first Thursday meeting, which is the second Thursday, the 11th, we would have the budget for you to approve. So that'd be first reading. Second reading would be on the 25th.
We didn't touch on anything on the Welcome Center. What's the latest on the transfer of the Welcome Center?
Still working on it. There is a phase 2. I'm sorry. Yeah. So we've had the phase 1 review done for for any environmental. Yeah. So they're getting ready to do the phase 2.
So are they paying for that then, I guess? Yeah. Phase 2? Because they aren't cheap.
Yeah, we're not paying.
Nothing down there, then are we still paying, we're still paying for all the utilities, or are they cost sharing some of those?
Everything's 50-50.
50/50.
Yeah.
But we paid for that parking lot and what else?
Parking lot was pretty cheap because it was just a seal.
Nothing else, do you think we can save anything on down there at the Welcome Center?
Not really, because we had an issue come up this week where we had a light go out, so we had to call the electrician in.
Not the best part of it. I mean, I guess we agreed on that 50/50, but they're getting the main benefit from the building, and the longer they delay it, the better deal they keep getting. So
and I will give credit to Rachel Davidson, who's the park superintendent. She is really wanting to see this move along and then take possession of it. But when at the same time she says that, she says we also want to include the city more than what we have set up now. So it's like a shared desk, a potential of that.
Our little kiosk down there, and they're unwilling. I know it's all across all state parks, but advertise anything but national park events, stuff like that. Just, it makes it hard to justify the effort that we're putting down there and having one staff member in a little kiosk down there. So I wish they would get their butts moving on that transfer. It would be.
Well, and I'll draw your attention to the east side of the levee. We just finished that project that we started 10 years ago, in actuality, when it all, when the group got together.
I didn't think you were going to see the 40-year tenure.
I didn't either. So, yeah.
Special road district, I can't find where we're spending, their funds for our roads on that. I didn't see that in it.
So until recently, they have now dedicated $25,000 to when we do a project that includes one of the roads they consider one of the special road district roads.
Do we have something earmarked for that money or not?
It will go into our Prop S fund is what it'll end up being, because they want to pay for Little Rock. We're going to finish paving from the ball fields to the gate. Yeah.
That'd be an adjoining road for what that.
Yeah. So they're willing to. Last year they paid, actually they didn't pay. Last year we paid a little extra, but they did Wilder and Creek Road. So that covered the $25,000. This year they'll give us funds back because we're actually expending the money for that improvement.
But didn't we pay for part of Wilder?
We paid a small portion, but it ended up being $36,000 for the total. $25,000 was then, taken off that bill.
On going back to salaries and step raises, I didn't see the breakdown as high, but were you happy now with the salary study we did and these step raises, and how effective, how much time did you spend trying to go through that and set that up for this coming year for salaries?
So this is all on the plan that's already established. So this is roughly a 2% increase for all staff.
And it was pretty straightforward then now with this new system?
Yeah, it's,
we used to fight it, having each department head and do their interviews with their staff and try to figure out, to do that. So are you happy with the way that this project went through, or is it working?
I think it's working well, yeah. And the board can make an adjustment, a COLA raise or anything else that you want to throw in there. And we can make the adjustment to the spreadsheet that we have.
No, I'm just kind of curious of the logistics and how it's working.
Yeah.
We had, it was always a little tougher to try to appease everybody, make everybody happy and justify who got raises, and it was just a little tough. So, I'm just kind of curious what your opinion of it was and how it's working.
So we do performance reviews in January, so they're not tied together anymore. We just do the raise at the beginning of the year. But if we do our jobs right, we talk to people as we go along, and you don't have bad performance reviews and where they apply to that.
You've talked about it twice now, but if we give the full amount of the rural fire fund, that $174,000 back, that's going to change your numbers by about $70,000.
Yeah.
That's probably going to change our percentage that we wanted there. But I think it's the right thing to do. So I'm not trying to change that. I'm just trying to figure out where we're going to go with these capital items that were proposed tonight.
60,000 is going to go back into the general fund because that wayfinding grant is in the general fund, and Aaron stated that would be in Fund 23, the tourism.
Yeah, so
that's a
offsets.
60,000.
Yeah, so you're
Will
gonna
not come
gonna
out.
be negative about 11,000.
Correct.
Yep. So that should keep us in good.
Might be the same with that NBD state grant as well, then too, wouldn't it be?
Yes.
The marketing grant.
So that would be.
Well, that's money in, money out.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, it's 10,000. Let's see.
I think so, right?
20,000 on grant, it's just a 10,000 match on our part.
Right, but we have revenue, we're, in the regular budget, we reflect the revenue as well. Yeah, it's just that what I put in there is the total amount that we're going to spend.
So when do we discuss Alliance as far as what they're proposing as far as an increase?
Up to the mayor as to how he wants the discussion to go, but that's what this meeting's about. Because it's included in the budget, so it's figured into the numbers that you have before you.
The increase,
The increase, yeah.
2.97 increase is what they're asking. They don't utilize the contracts at 2%, 2 to 4. They can 2 to 4, 2 to 4.
2 to 4, yeah.
I guess they're gonna buy my contract.
It used to be 3 to 5.
Okay, that's good. In the right direction.
Right.
So, yeah, I'd like to discuss this and what really we want to give Alliance as far as the increase of expenses and everything. I feel Alliance needs to look and find out where to save the money and we get a more amount. What do you think?
It's up to the board on what you want.
2.4 is fine with me.
They proposed more last year and we sent them back to the table and they sharpened their pencils and came back with something that we accepted. And, you know, eventually that's gonna catch up with us. I mean, you know, their expenses are going up just like ours are. I don't see that this year's increase is still well within, you know, what they're allowed to by contract. I think they're sharpening their pencils pretty well again, and, you know, they could have more. And I don't know what our obligation would be. I mean, they could probably fight or push it through harder and we'd still be stuck with it. But I don't see what they're asking for this time to be out of line, especially what they did for us last year.
Yeah, look at it, is what do we cut in order to pay them? It's coming out of our budget,
That
our revenue, so we're gonna give up something
You're absolutely,
to give them more money.
if we outsource this service to any company, we're gonna pay a premium for that service. So are you wanting to bring it back in-house and do that? I think that's the question you're asking, because we are giving up to getting a professional service done. We're paying more than what we can do in-house. So what's the cost of doing it in-house?
Did we ever get those numbers, Joe, when we asked for them last time? I don't think we did.
I think you did. I'm gonna kindly disagree that I passed out a sheet that showed you what I estimated the amount of what those salaries would be if we brought them back into the city.
Okay.
Yeah, but give more information than that one. Hey,
I'm not sure what, I mean, what are you looking for the numbers of people or, I mean?
Well, one of the things you brought up before was that who's gonna come over here and work for the city? Have you talked to the people out there? Is there anything that says they wouldn't or they would? You know,
With Alliance, I think I don't want to poach their employees.
I think that's inappropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the question. I mean, tonight, we're telling them to reduce their rate for our benefit, and then we're also telling them to bring every resource they have to fix some of the problems. So we're talking out of both sides of our mouth. I think we're paying too much. Yes, I think we're paying too much. But I also have a hard time telling them to reduce their fees and then also tell them to bring in their expertise on some big projects that we have. So I'm all for, and you're right, you absolutely did bring some of those numbers. It was, spend an hour on it or whatever. Perfect. So I apologize for that. Do we want to spend more time on having staff figure out what it takes to do it in-house and get a big report? I'm sure Happy or the next city administrator can do that for us. It's going to be cheaper to do it in-house. Is it 5%, 10%, 50%? I don't know.
But at what cost?
It's the savings. So, what do we get? So, should we fight for a better rate from them? Yes, absolutely. But I'm scared, what'll happen if we bring it.
Well, this is the contract up in 2027.
This is our last year on the contract.
Okay, so this is something we should be looking at
Yeah.
before the,
And I don't want to stop fighting for a reduction. So, I mean, if you want to fight, and have Alliance, but it's a tough situation because we do get excellent service, but we pay a lot.
yeah, we're just not an open pot of money that is, other places hurt when we start giving more to certain areas. We only got so much.
And, I mean, if you look at, if we're paying, you can say 10%, I can't remember, do you remember off the top of your head what it might have been? If the cost of to staff it internally versus outsourcing it, remember what the savings was? Was it 10 or 20% maybe savings in?
I don't know if I remember the percentage, but yeah, I'll give you 15%, halfway in between.
So $1.5 million contract, we'd say $200,000.
Based on estimates.
Absolutely. So what are we not giving our citizens for that $200,000? We could save $200,000 by doing it internally. What other services could we give the city, or what other could we give, not collect so much tax and give some of that money back, but what are we giving up for that $200,000? Like, we're asking them right now to come down and figure out a sewer issue that we've had probably for 20 years. So I don't know.
I also remember when Alliance took over, we were under.
The decree of the DNR saying,
Right.
we're going to shut down.
Everything was rusted and corroded over, and that whole water department was a catastrophe.
DNR was going to shut
It
down.
caused us more in the long run to not have a professional service, to keep up with the department, or the government regulations and all that. We as a city cannot afford to hire somebody that's gonna do what they already provide for us. Yeah, we can bring it back in-house, but who's gonna be the specialized person to keep up on everything and not let it get to what it was when they took over? I've seen the pictures, I remember touring it back then, and, you get what you pay for. It's that simple.
Yeah, but when they started with what you said as far as how bad it was. What is up here now? So we're going along like this. So it seems like to me it's a little easier on the level here.
It would be a lot easier for us to take it back in-house because we do, and we own some of the plans that they've drawn up for us, so we could carry those over. We might be able to keep some of the staff, but to get, a Class A water plant operator and a Class 4 sewer plant operator, to get all those, to find them locally, we might have to pay more than what Happy estimated, because there's only so many people that have those licenses that want to work here, and what's the learning curve to get those people here. It's a big decision, and next year when this contract ends, we can decide, and maybe there's another company out there that'll give us good service as Alliance, but cheaper, or we can decide to keep it, or try to take it back on.
But I feel we need to start doing something now, to get this headed that way.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we agreed last time when we had this discussion over the same exact thing, that we agreed that Alliance did excellent with our water, and we would not switch any water with Alliance. We wanted Alliance to at least stay with water. Right.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
And we went out 3-4 years ago for a request for qualifications to see if anybody else could offer the same services as Alliance. And the one group that came and talked to us left and said, no, they're doing what all of us could do, and we couldn't do it for the price that they were charging. So we had some affirmation at that point that we were with the right company.
Oh, okay, that's kind of things we need to look at next year.
And I may be in the minority here, but I just don't feel like that increase is that much. And, given the increases that they gave their employees, these are the employees that are working for the city. I mean, those were not huge increases. That's just my opinion.
No, but, I mean, I think it is our job as representing the taxpayer, we are to question this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'm just saying, you know, because I don't have any issues with what Alliance does now, and I stay in pretty close contact with them. I always get the information, I always get the answers, and I don't know if everybody gets the same, but I think they do a good job for us. Are we in a position to take it back over? Absolutely not. At this day and age and stuff, we are not in a position to do that. Under no circumstances should we even consider it now. In the future, maybe. But, you know, I think as far as the city, and I look back and I mentioned the used trucks we used to buy and stuff like that. I mean, we prepared them pretty well to do their job, and they've answered the call. You know, this back truck, I watched that thing like a hawk. It was $500,000. And I mean, that thing is being used every day. You know, it's a big labor saver. It makes their job easier, and it does a better job than getting down and digging this stuff up by hand. You know, I was optimistic about spending that kind of money, but they've proven and they take
You were
care.
pessimistic. You were pessimistic.
Well,
Yeah.
they take excellent care of
Yeah,
the truck.
but you're right. You are.
You know, my only question about questioning this whole increase was, if I see some expertise here going along to help us fix this problem out there, it would be a lot easier to answer this letter and say, you know, but I'm gonna stand here until I fall over, until I get that expertise to get this problem solved for these people. It's not my ward, but I don't care. We all should, and I think we do, we all want this fixed, but we need help.
Well, the thing is, we all agree Alliance is doing a good job. I see it. I think they're doing great, you know, but can we afford it? If it keeps, what percentages are we looking at as far as going up?
Happy, isn't this the second contract that we've had with Alliance?
We renew every year.
Right.
With the increase. We expanded it to Public Works, so that's when the contract changed.
And that's when it changed, because didn't we originally have a 2% increase per year, and then whenever we did Public Works, we went to the 2 to 4?
Yeah.
Right, I thought we made a
But
change in
yeah.
the percentage, so.
I don't have that breakdown sheet in front of me. We looked at what all the increases
Right.
were.
So that's something, you know, at the next contract we can talk about, but talking about taking it over now is too.
Well, so one of the things we've talked about with Alliance is that we have that fund that's part of this, the $54,000 that we give them to do the chemicals and all that. We have talked about putting those back into line items. And then it goes through, they'll have to buy it through the city to get everything instead of using the fund that they use now. So that would be a reduction in that amount of money that they charge, but you're going to see it on the back end on line items. But we also thought that might help because we're a non-taxable entity, that might save us a little bit of money whenever they do those purchases. So it's a little harder for us we then have to be more regulatory in watching what they're spending, as opposed to where they can spend it on their own, they can do as they see fit. We would have to watch over that a little bit more, but that's a possibility that we've talked about. Aren't they part of that? Or are they separate?
Repair is the 54,000.
That's, okay. Okay. So we don't do, like vehicle repairs and that, we don't, they pay out of their fund for that. But we could bring it back into our line items. And then then the city is paying instead of Alliance paying for those items.
To save any taxes or whatever.
Yep.
So is there anything we can do, like, let's look at what your workload is and say, okay, what we're doing here could be contracted out. I mean, we wouldn't be getting paid for it, but the city would pay for it. And it would it be less? You know,
So, but if you,
they do that.
because, and we've kind of talked about that, the conundrum, what I have in my head though is if they don't do a certain job, but they keep the same amount of people, so they're still having to do, you're still paying the same amount of employees. But then you have an extra, if you have somebody else doing that contract work, then you're paying for that. So you're saying that they would cut that out of their contract.
Right, they would be doing it, so that's not part of the contract.
Right.
Providing that service.
Right. But what they do is, they have a number of people that they have for whatever project or projects that they need to be doing. And if we do take away from one area, it may be a reduction in staff because they don't need those people all the time.
Right.
So, yeah, we can contract out. Yeah.
I just thought it'd be something to look into. And so what's the process now? Is do they go back and come back with a different proposal for next meeting?
I would like for the board to give us direction on that. I mean, if you want to see something else, then we can pass that on to Erica and she can take it back to her folks and see if they can bring something else back to us next week.
Open point for as far as the percent, and for them to look at different areas where they can cut costs or, work out a solution that's lower the cost.
It's a majority that has to tell me yes or no on something like that.
I don't think it's asking them too much to make sure, this number is firm and that's what they have to have. And they can come back and tell us yes or no, or maybe there is some things, they could do. I don't think that's asking anything out of the ordinary, but well, under capital items and stuff, the street sweeper, I'm a hard, unless I see a ton of hours on that thing, I'm a hard no on that, but.
Hold on,
Let's focus on
focus on, we'll come back to street sweeping. I just don't want to see that savings come at the expense of their workforce getting a reduced salary increase. Because at the percentage that she gave, that's tracking under inflation. And we've asked them to do a lot. And we are continuing to ask them to do a lot. So I don't want to see it at that expense. That's the only piece I'll say. I mean, if they're gonna come back with a better number and it's at the expense of what the workforce is getting paid, that hurts my heart a little bit.
I'm fairly confident after what we asked of them last year that they came in with their pencil sharpened this time.
I agree.
We can't keep nitpicking and expect the same level of service. And I don't think that's that much of an increase, especially with what they're, they got salaries and stuff to pay as well.
I don't think they would do that. This is professional business. I don't think they're gonna come back cutting service.
I agree with the proposal, as long as they can help us fix that situation over there. They can help us do that, I agree with it.
There's no way.
I think it's reasonable.
At this point now.
At this point, that's why.
Yeah.
You're just trying to find the problem, then there'll be the solution and find out the cost of that.
We went outside and tried to find ourselves. We bought everything else. Laura knows what that would cost us. We didn't have lines. Their expertise.
Any thoughts on the topic?
I mean, I agree with Joe. I'm sure they sharpened their pencil and it was already the way it needs to be.
We okay with that? But we do want to see some resources allocated to trying to figure that out.
Yeah. We gotta fix that problem.
We got to figure that out. Okay. You want to talk about the street sweeper now?
Sure.
Let's talk about it.
You know, based on the hours and stuff like that, I mean, if it's within reason, the life of the major driver components of it and stuff, my recommendation of 1 of 8 is we wait, get that information and stuff, so.
I'm all for making the repairs needed to make it usable, but at this time to purchase.
If it's salvageable and if it's workable for 3 or 5 years, yes.
Right.
30,000, 35,000, what do you?
Around 30, I'll have you guys numbers on Monday, with the hours and everything. I'm getting with John and having, received it.
Okay.
And anything we can do in-house, putting parts and stuff on, we'll do, we'll just pretty much buy the parts and do the labor like we do.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything else.
If you could do it when you get those hours, if you get us to the type engine, the primary engine and the secondary engine, so we can do our own research.
Right.
The longevity of that engine. So we look at raw hours here. This is something I know a little bit about here. And I can say, well, this brand engine here is good for 10,000 hours. We can look at that, or this is good for 6,000 hours. At least we know what we're looking at if we have the engines.
I mean, if you're dumping oil in the thing every day, why, just tell us.
No, we're not just on there every day, but it's.
Well, leak and burning is wear and tear.
You guys okay? Everybody okay with that planning board on the street sweeper? So the blanks I have, or at least as we were going through, still were place your AI, Parkland ready. And you said it 9.
Well, what we're saving on giving the chamber is paying for placer AI ready, Parkland ready, right? It's almost a wash.
Say that again, sorry.
What we would not be paying the Chamber of Commerce would pay for Parkland ready, placer AI.
Not quite.
Not quite.
Which one is more beneficial to us?
Good question. Flip a coin.
We could engage with other stakeholders in the county and see if maybe they'd help us foot the bill for the Parkland ready.
Well, we've contacted St. Mary's and Bloomsdale and got no response.
Sure, they want the benefit without cutting the check.
Right.
I get it. It doesn't hurt.
Well, they wouldn't have access. Would that be a number?
It's, yeah, I think we more or less, I mean, it's, anybody, I mean, it's county-wide.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some ways.
I mean, they're going to benefit from what contacts are made by Scott.
No, that'd be.
Yeah, that's ours. That's proprietary for us.
Did he come to the IDC meeting?
We haven't had one since we had that joint chamber IDC meeting. I was waiting until we had that next morning meeting and have Scott to come to that. He says he will. And I think it's important if he does, that he does.
Does that money need to be, is that money a calendar year? Is it a January 1?
Yeah, I think we've already started making payments. I'm including that it would extend through September of next year.
Okay.
Isn't Parkland Ready already accounted for though in the budget or?
TAP grants, for the St. Mary's and safety, we already have the engineering done on those.
No. St. Mary's is done and submitted to Missouri Department of Transportation. Waiting for their final approval. They had 10 requests to changes to the plans, waiting for those to be resubmitted. For the TAP grant, we're just now really in the engineering part of South 4th Street.
On under legislative, that 100,000 for capital, process capital.
Right.
Why are you putting that as a capital item? I mean, we don't really have an option, per se on that, do we?
Not really, but it is a capital improvement. So it lists as we're redoing the streets. So I fitted it under the capital improvements. If you move it back over to where it was in transfer, then you're at $190,000. And your revenue less the operations will be in the red.
The Crestlawn expansion, or we paid for the engineering on that. This 150 is for actual project moving forward, the bringing in the fill and putting in stormwater.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that
It's a dedicated.
Yeah.
Is there a time frame out there happy for running out lots?
Probably 5 years out,
I mean, you know,
maybe 10, based on what we're seeing right now.
So it's like,
On these handicap accessibility review. So where are we at on that?
I'm sorry, take that in here and say it.
Handicap accessibility review, I was just wondering, where are we? Got a plan, or do we?
That's on the future capital improvements, right? The 5-year plan? Yeah.
Yeah, 5-year capital improvement.
So what we would look at is contacting with the SEMO Regional Planning Commission. And then they walk all of the city and they will tell us where the improvements need to be made.
Okay.
Once that is in paper, once that has been produced and approved, then you have to start putting that into your capital improvement plan every year.
Okay.
So that's why we haven't done that, but we want to get that going.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Your exterior architectural design work, the drawings and stuff, we don't know what they're gonna come back with, but they might say 50 grand, 100 grand, 200, whatever the number may be for the exterior improvements or upgrades. So it's nice to have a plan, but do we really want to spend $30,000 and then not have the 200 grand to do the improvements?
True.
I don't know how you guys feel about that, because if we pay to have, it would be a shame to have a plan sitting there that the architect put together a lot of effort, and especially if you like it, but then you want to implement it. I don't know if that's something we can, did a lot of work on the inside for sure, it's like.
But that's not something we need to do right away either. Take that down the road another year. Yeah.
Chief, what happens if you only get 3 vehicles instead of 4?
We're still gonna be hard.
we keep putting Band-Aids on right now.
And so we held off 2 cars last year, so we're at the point where we do need 4 vehicles to stay within that
This is
5
gonna be
million.
those enterprise.
Yeah, it's part of the lease.
Yeah.
Program.
We're also trying to put it in for grants. I put one on a grant now to see if we can get it, but you never know with them.
Dave, what about your walking tour, your historic walking tour? I mean,
We're actually obligated to do that. Yeah, because we had done that, started that a couple of years ago.
That's 20,000 of that is already included in the revenue.
I kind of agree with Joe and Joe over there about this.
I heard you saying, I heard it before you.
The Joe and Joe show over there, you know, about that. We can kick that down the road because we don't know what's going to happen in this one corner of this thing over here. Might be a waste of time to get a draw and then we got whatever going on.
I'd be okay with waiting on
You
that.
guys want to hold off on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that.
I agree.
I mean, do we really need an architect or to come up with a plan for it? We have enough people in this community. If we open it up for ideas and suggestions, we might be able to make that decision on our own.
I think Abby was thinking about it.
You just chaired a new committee.
You don't want my
I was going to say, you'll have fun with that one.
Look at your race car, you guys sponsor it?
I think for 35,000, you was thinking a little bit more than a splash coat of paint, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you guys okay with taking that can down the road?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're back onto that. And we dropped, remember, we also dropped the 911 by 9,000.
Yeah, that's 88,500, right?
And then, of course, the street sweeper, you know, is probably
Just fixed.
190 some odd thousand. Different.
Sam and I was gonna go down and see the street sweeper the next day or two.
You can drive it too.
Test
Why not? If you watch your side, I'll watch my side for defects.
With some of these cuts, I mean,
Take a ride in it.
the Parkland Ready and Placer AI,
But how you talked about that, I don't know, Mayor, I didn't want, but I'm gonna ask the question, maybe help support your question. The IT management, that's /
Yes.
and, we're in a contract with them for how long? Do you-
Contract is coming up. The end of the contract is coming up.
I have a countdown.
Um,
I think it's the police part does it too.
Must be some.
Just
So this 11% increase is, what part of the year is this? You know,
For this year, this is what we've included, 11% increase anticipated because, due to what we've seen in the bill increases.
so it might not be the same company, but you're just kind of anticipating, even if we have a new contract.
Right,
Okay.
right. I mean, it's best to estimate high, bring it in low.
And you included cybersecurity up in that IT management, maybe, or?
Cybersecurity is insurance, and cybersecurity is included with IT management. Yeah, that's the Microsoft programs,
Somewhere, or
Right.
some,
I mean, all the testing that they do. Yeah.
That's why nobody can send you an email.
We trimmed some things off. I mean, I know we added the rural fire fund thing, but that was also offset by a grant, right? Or, I mean, there was a grant that was not in there that will be in there. Did I remember that correctly? So really, that was only about a $10,000 net change between those two items, right? Between the 170 fire fund and out of general. Adding, they would take 70 out of general, but then 60 is going back into general for the grant. Is that my understanding? Right? Well, but it, Right, but then they're, well, no, because don't they have 170 some odd thousand in there right now?
They have 113.
Oh, the city, well, no, okay, so, but they're getting a grant that's reimbursing for 120 that they already spent. I was talking about Aaron mentioned something about his grant.
Yeah.
That one.
Wayfinding.
Sorry, yeah, I was two different departments, but
Yes, that's
he's got
back
it.
into general fund.
So that kind of washed almost, yeah. It made it only about a net $10,000
Correct.
change. Okay.
I have a question on the tanker chassis for the water district or water thing here. The $75,000 number, is that just to purchase the truck? Is that conversion complete driveway unit?
I mean, are we gonna include, is that including the, moving the tank or?
That modification?
Yeah, I mean, we would get it fitted for the tank that we have.
Yeah, I want to say, is that in the $75,000, we'll get it?
Maybe do that in-house, don't we? Are we
I
doing
don't know if we can
that?
lift that in-house.
I don't mind getting, possibly just a trailer room right here, but then just do it ourselves.
Well, that's okay, I was just curious, we're gonna buy a $75,000 truck and they're bringing us a bill for $20,000 to have it rigged.
Right.
That's what I was asking, the question I was asking.
But there's not much to it, just a tank sitting on the chassis, there's no hoses or anything hooked up, it's just a self-contained unit, so it's not a huge outfit, part of it.
No PTO and all that stuff like that to do it.
Okay. Lingering thoughts?
Back to the tanker, will we be able to review what you're gonna buy before they just buy it? I guess what I'm saying is what they're gonna buy.
We will go through enterprise and see what's available, and then the board has to approve that expenditure before we put our order in.
Alliance can't
So
spend
that'll
that
be,
amount of money without it
be
being
a purchase from
approved.
enterprise.
Right. Right.
I don't, Alliance can't make that big of a purchase without having to go through the board first.
So we'll advocate for.
So we'll be able to see it.
Yeah, this is just appropriating the money so we can look into what will be available out there.
Probably good until we see the updates on it and in our, can we ask you for a fourth line on here, just what was originally, and then, I guess you're gonna put in approved, I guess. So we'll
Right.
see the approved next
Right.
week.
Right.
There you
Trying to get it out to everybody's email as soon as possible, but I will not be here this weekend, so won't be out till Monday.
Okay. We feel like we're at a good point here, see those numbers, come back next week for work session, and then hopefully have something we can bring back the following, or the next meeting, won't be the following week, but the first meeting.
After September 11th.
I've got one question on the use tax one that you got on here. Is that just showing the year-to-date?
Yeah,
So it might,
it could go up, could go down, and that, the year before was an anomaly, as you can tell. And we did not expect it to even be at the level that it is now. So we've been lucky with whoever's making those purchases.
All right.
So let me say thank you to you all. I know this is not an easy process, and the concentration is hard over this length of time, and so many items that we throw at you. But I hope it makes it a little bit easier with the department heads coming before you to explain, getting to ask questions, that you feel comfortable with what we are presenting to you, and that what we bring back is something that you want to adopt, because this is the policy you have for the city for the next 365 days, starting October 1st. So again, thank you.
I think Joel will agree with me, your process is much less time consuming and much easier than what it was in the past.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is all all the information is well organized and put together. It makes this so much easier to kind of dissect.
So a lot of this goes to the department heads because they're the ones that, one, watch over it, two, figure it out, and three, help us to organize it.
So once you bring it back in the next session, it's gonna, you're gonna have in there all the changes people asked for, that's ours.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's set up for approval.
Right. It's one more time for you to review it, and if there's something somebody wants to tweak, you have that option.
Okay.
And then we would bring it for final approval, not final. First reading would be September 11th, second reading is September 25th. We don't do 2 readings at one meeting, we split them up.
Okay. I'm a little confused as far as, what do we do with the lines? I know they made a motion, and nobody's made a motion, but, and then we talked about, everything else.
No, the majority of the conversation, the majority of the conversation was that the Lions would get their 2.97%.
Okay.
That was the majority of the agreement with this group.
Yeah, I didn't hear anybody say they didn't let everything down.
Okay, everybody.
We got a consensus. I heard.
Yeah, well,
What?
Alliance.
One guy's nervous. How about it?
He hit us 5 and stopped. I don't know.
Is that what you did?
Yeah.
I can found it.
He's gone more than this year. I mean, that's all you need.
Your
Agreed with it, stuff like
your
that.
chart here, it's about roughly about 4 million.
Yeah.
In estimated costs.
So keep in mind that 3.5 million will be going to the subdivision, so you have about $1.5 million left for those streets. Yeah, that's where that number comes from.
When do we need to prioritize that?
I would do that next month. Again, I think everybody's a little bit more, you know, you get in September, this will be a copy of the budget then, so you've got a work session item that, I know Joe wants to have it, you know, have us have as many work sessions as possible.
So on the streets, Hattie, is that like your recommendations or with the, okay, so it was just the way.
The top 3 were the original, with the original group and what they came in as. The rest of them are just listed. There are no recommendations. That's up to the board.
I thought Oakwood was already supposed to be, I remember seeing Oakwood on there. Is there another part of Oakwood?
That's the cul-de-sac. So if we do the water main improvement, then the cul-de-sac part of Oakwood would be done. That's that portion.
Ladies on there.
Okay, any other questions, business to discuss right now? All right, if not,
After he's gone.
what's that?
What do we do after he's gone?
Cry.
Okay, we'll figure it out. All right, nothing else? We'll adjourn. See you all next week.